start the meeting at 6:20. And I'll do a roll call. Martina McNichols.
Absent.
Ronald Keels here. Derek Dublin.
Here.
Rolf Lopez.
Absent.
And Kim Bickham.
Here.
Okay. We'll stand for the pledge. Pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. And the pledge to the U.S. flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty for all.
Justice for all.
Okay, now we're just open here.
So this is your call for new.
Okay, we're open for public comments at this time,
And then it's separate.
and it's separate from the agenda,
Public hearing.
the public hearing.
Nobody has it.
Okay, now it's the public hearing to hear input from the public regarding the proposed zoning variance from Chapter 77, zoning section 77-27B2, minimum lot width within the open single-family residential zoning district for an approximate 10-acre tract of land generally located 350 feet southeast of the southeast corner of the intersection of Massey Ranch Road and Chocolate Bio Road, situated in the A0320 Arestus Little Tract 1, Division E, Brazoria County, Texas, thereof recorded in Volume 2, page 89 of the map records of Brazoria County, Texas, providing for severability and providing a penalty in an amount not to exceed $2,000 for each day of violation of any provisions hereof. So we'll open the floor for public comments.
First call for comment.
Do you want me to do a quick presentation first?
Okay, this is the first call.
I can do a quick presentation if that pleases the board, just so everybody's,
Yeah.
okay. Let me just do a
Thank
quick
you.
presentation. Evan Duvall, is it speaking closer better? Okay. Let me get really close to this mic. Okay, let me know if it's not loud enough. All right, so I just want to, the first slide here, you can see where the location of the property is with this arrow. It's on the city of Manvel's border, and across the area is ETJ. It's in the open single-family district. So this proposal is to allow a 7-lot subdivision on 10 acres of land. And the request is actually for one of the lots, Lot 4, to be 110 feet wide as opposed to 120 feet wide. So that the request is only for one lot. And the applicant is in the audience as well, if you have any questions. So just I wanted to show like where it was, because you kind of lose perspective sometimes. It's this lot right here, and this to the direct west is ETJ. This is city over here to the southeast. It's also residential zoning, and then across the street is ETJ. So in the city of Manvel's ETJ, but not in the city limits. Here's the lot again, just showing the kind of the road network that's around there. Here's the existing conditions. There is a existing kind of detention, like drainage swell in that area that exists there currently. It's shown on the on this survey. So here's the actual plan for this property and why we're here before you guys. Lot 4 is right here. Sorry, right here. And that has 110-foot width in this proposal where 120 foot's required. And I want to say that when we're looking at these like kind of open single families, kind of more rural lots, the minimum requirement is an acre. And the reason for the acre is to make sure there's enough room for like septic and a well for the development. In this case, all the lots are over an acre, quite substantially, even after the dedication for County Road 100 or Massey Ranch Road. So it's only for one lot in the subdivision, and it meets the acreage and size. So it's lot 4 right here. So in terms of staff recommendation, we look at the criteria for approval for variances, and I do appreciate all you guys coming out here today. The notices are working, so I'm glad you guys were able to come here and find out more about this development. So the first one of the criteria is granting of the variance is necessary to secure appropriate development of a parcel of land which differs from other parcels in the zone by being of such restricted area, shape, slope, that it cannot be appropriately developed without modification. In this case, the property faces Massey Ranch Road, but it is a very deep parcel and does have, like we said before, that kind of that drainage thing through the parcel that's going to have to be looked at when they're developing the single-family homes. And just note, this is only for single-family homes. It doesn't entitle anything else. The second part of this is the granting of a variance will not be material, detrimental, or injurious to the other property or improvements in the neighborhood in which the subject property is located, nor impair an adequate supply of light or air to the adjacent property, substantially increase the congestion in public streets, increase the danger of fire, endanger the public health, safety, and well-being, or substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. In this case, it's going to be single-family homes, and I don't know, what size those homes will be, but they're on acre lots, so they're kind of the more rural, larger properties for the septic and well. And so there's no expected detrimental effects to this variance if it's approved. The third part is the variance desired will not be contrary to the general public purpose and intent of these regulations. And, in terms of staff recommendation, we are recommending approval on this variance request. And the reason for that is the drainage swell, the deepness of the property, and the fact that they're not asking for a reduction in acreage. They're going to be over an acre in size, and therefore it's just a variation on one lot. So staff has no issues, and that's staff presentation. Thank you.
And then you'll call them up when.
Okay. Okay, does anybody have any other comments that they want to make? They need to come up and speak into the mic. And state your name and address.
Brandy Smith, 4707 Old Massey Ranch Road. So I guess one concern is I've lived out there for 12 years, and I've watched that lot flood on heavy rains, where maybe not down the street would be flooded, but that lot particularly does flood, and it does cover the roadway when it floods. So when it comes to homes, how are these homes going to affect other person's homes that are down the street that I have watched flood, especially during Harvey? How is that going to affect their water flow? And is it the whole lot that's going to have to be built up? Is it just the house that has to be built up? Are they going to be able to disrupt the flow of the water that might come onto other people's land that's across the street? How is that going to affect us on the other side of the street? Do you want me to restate it? Y'all look confused.
And just so you guys know, in terms of this public comment, we're not able to answer questions.
Mm-hmm.
We just hear kind of what you're saying, and then we take that into account.
Okay.
Thank you.
Was it confusing though?
No?
Okay.
Very clear.
Thank you.
So if I ask for clarification of where it is, you can't answer.
Can you come up to the mic, please?
They're requesting that y'all turn it up. They can't hear. I'm Mickey Strother. I'm at 4431 Sandy Ridge. And we're asking for clarification on exactly where this is going to be. Right where County Road 100 meets 89, right behind that metal building. Is that where you're talking about the subdivision, P? Okay. So the 10 acres directly behind the metal building going up to the guy's brand-new farm he just built. Okay. So that does put us at a disadvantage there because we're having a lot of problems with the roads already. With the people that are there, we have major problems with the drainage. There is a creek that runs down around through there, and it's going to cut across the road just about where the first lot is going to be, right there by the farm. And that's going to be a major problem too, because it does flood that road every time it rains very hard at all. That's exactly right. Yep. So we have been stranded down in there during Harvey, and we've been stranded several other times too, but especially then, we were back there for 8 days before the water went down. So we want to make sure that that's addressed. We want to make sure that we know what's going on with septic. We know what's going on. You know, it's the city going to provide water all the way out there? Or is it going to be off a water well? Or is it city of Manvel?
And we'll address the comments, the public hearing process. You just kind of state, and then we'll address those comments after.
After tonight? We're going to address them, or when?
No, as part of the discussion that the board is going to have, we'll bring up those questions and we'll try to address them as part of that discussion.
Okay.
So right now, we want to keep the public hearing process, keep moving it along where we have an opportunity for everybody to come up and speak, rather than interjecting after every speaker and going through that explanation. We'll take care of the discussion after the public hearing is closed. Thank you.
Next.
Dr. Tracy Benson. My address is 4501 Sandy Ridge. I have a question. I see each name badge, but who are you?
My name is Evan Duvall, and I was the former zoning administrator for City of Manvel.
So you're the zoning administrator for?
Not anymore. I subbed in temporarily. I'm now, I work with Safe Built, and then
So you're not with the city?
I'm a consultant for the city. I represent the city. I don't have any interest in this decision.
Okay, that's my first question, because I can tell who I'm speaking with. My second question is, when I called the police, they said, we're not Manvel. They said, we're sheriff. So my question is, these 10 homes, who are they? Are they Manvel? Or do I have to wait to the end of the?
No, this property is within city limits. It's a quick answer.
And I heard you say that they will be single-family homes,
That's correct.
and you said there are 10 lots, and each lot is going to be 1 acre?
It's, just to clarify, it's 7 lots total. Only one is requesting a smaller lot width, and it's 10 acres of land total.
My question is there anything that we can do besides this to stop this? Because I moved to this neighborhood for a certain reason. My other reason, the people that purchase the lots, are we sure these are only single-family homes? Because there's no HOA there.
So we have zoning in the city of Manvel, and this is in the city, and that controls what uses can go there, but this is a single-family residential district,
So for sure, only
That's
homes, no businesses or anything like that?
just whatever's allowed in home occupation stuff.
Thank you.
How y'all doing? Nice to see you. Hey, I'm James Hall. I'm her husband. Man, I just had a couple of questions.
Same address?
4501 Sandy Ridge.
Okay.
I'm understanding that there's going to be a septic system put in for these 7 homes that they're going to be building or proposing to build. Okay, and it's going to be a water well on there also, right?
Correct.
Okay. My question is, the grid that services several of our homes, the electrical grid, I think each house, in Texas, I believe each house normally on average uses about 1,200 kilowatts per day. we've already had issues with the aerial fee that comes in, so that's going to have to be addressed as far as the increase in usage of electricity. The second thing, well, one of the other things, the amount of traffic that goes in and out of just that area will be increased. Each individual home, on average, if I'm getting my numbers right, each one has a 2.5, 3 people per home, which is going to increase the amount of traffic that'll be going in those areas. Are there any plans for additional signage or lighting or anything? The lighting is also an issue. The traffic lighting. Traffic lighting first. Lighting. We don't have any city lighting or county lighting there, and it is somewhat dark. So more individuals coming causes more traffic, which causes more probability for other things to happen at night when we don't have adequate lighting. Now, that's the issue that probably wants to be addressed also. And if you look from where the proposed site is, the elevation, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to build that up substantially, which, and somebody's already stated that the road there where they added a new culvert is damaged now. Large trucks coming in moving earth or sand or dirt to build up this proposed subdivision is going to cause a problem in itself also. So, I mean, I mean, are we going to service the roads also? Are we going to widen the roads due to the increase in traffic? I mean, these are questions that, you know, I'm pretty sure I want to know and everybody else here wants to know also. I mean, it's a lot involved when you start adding or increasing the amount of homes to any area. Like my wife said, we moved over there because we were trying to get away from the city, but now subsequently you're adding more homes, which is going to cause more traffic, which is going to cause more load on the grid and, you know, the city services that you may or may not have. I understand that you're going to have septic system, but I mean, if at any time you decide to incorporate a city sewer system, I mean, we're talking about what, treating 500 gallons of raw sewage a day. That's, you know, an increase in a lot of, that's, you know, a lot of money to treat that kind of sewer system. So, but we all have questions here, but the main question is we're increasing the amount of people that are going to be coming into this, coming on the street. Let's just say on the street, and let's say subdivision, let's say on the street. City services, fire, water, sheriff's department, whoever, that's a thought. Electrical grid is a problem. Elevation, you know, from the main street from Chocolate Bayou is got to be at least 8, maybe 7, 8 feet. So I'm not sure how, you know, you can just build a subdivision there, but I mean, these questions I'd like to get some answers to whenever we have time, if it's okay.
Yes, sir.
I mean, they're already telling you that, you know, when they have excessive amounts of rain, you know, it's knee deep. And there's a creek that runs through there. I'm pretty sure that's a natural waterway that, you know, is going to have to be either, you know, obstructed some kind of way to reduce the amount of water that's coming into.
Okay, can we call for a next person?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Kevin Schmidt, 5729 Weir Road, about a quarter mile, I think, from the subject property. I guess I just wrote down a few bullet points real quick. Variance requests, I always think like, hey, it's easy for the lender, credit committee, everyone, it's easy to just say no. It's easy to just say no, and then follow the loan agreement, whatever, move on. So I know it's not a big ask for only one lot, you know, and I'm not sure if the picture is representative of the size of the houses, but 1 acre, the lots are long, but the houses are gonna be right next to each other. You know, I think it's the easier thing to say, hey, no, go back to the drawing board, 7 houses, make it 6, and we'll talk. So I think that's an easy answer. 2, so as I understand it, I don't think, because of the variance request, permitting hasn't been approved, so it's still in process, hasn't been approved, and we can talk about that later. 2, I do live off the bayou, Mustang Bayou, so I understand flooding. I bought the property subsequent to Hurricane Harvey, but after a tropical storm or a named storm, the bayou gets kind of high, and I have driven on that particular road. It's like a swamp. So no matter what happens to this individual parcel, there's a bigger issue in that area, and if you make it more like a mini subdivision, whatever, it's going to have more of an impact. And you do have to, I know the permitting too, you also have to build that thing up 3 feet. That displaces all that water. You build that little pond in the front that's still not going to hold it after a named storm. I know that. All right, and so we talk about that. Water septic, 1 acre lots, everyone can pull their own water septic. I get that. So, but they are very long, narrow lots. We're trying to upgrade the image here in Manvel, and everyone's building here. Everyone wants to move to the ranch. Give everyone a little bit wider lot. It's easy to say no. And then the last thing is economics. I am in commercial real estate. The economics are there to build 6 houses, not 7. And then and I do see that the variances, it's within the realm of reasonableness to approve it. Again, easier to just say no, try harder. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Ann, and this is my husband, Don Locatius. We're at 4502 Sandy Ridge Lane. Our main
What is your last name?
Locatius, Locacius. My mother, Patricia Cumberland, she lives on our property in her own home. My main concern, when you come in the neighborhood, the road goes down. They did put the drainage and everything. It's just gravel. It's destroyed. So you do go down to come into our neighborhood. That road is destroyed. When Beryl came, pieces of it just everywhere. We could not get out for 2 days? Yes. There's a ditch that runs west of our house along all those houses. No one comes and digs our ditches. No one maintains anything out there. It's our little community. We moved in there in 2007 from League City to our retirement home, to peaceful and quietness. Anytime we get somebody to come out there, they love it. This is so beautiful. It's peaceful. It's quiet. That's how we want it to stay. That's just my concern, is the flooding. Beryl, we had knee-deep water in our backyard. We flood all the time. And then during Harvey, we flooded in our home, Skip a home, and another house flooded in their home. So if this is going to raise these houses, where does that put us? In a bubble. Then literally we're really going to flood again. And I don't want to lose our home. That's my main concerns.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Okay, I'll make a second call for comments.
Jessica Ortiz, 4422 Sandy Ridge Lane. Since you're not answering questions, can I just ask them and then, I guess y'all write them down, our concerns. Okay, so how will this benefit our neighborhood? Or that is our rear going to be annexed into city of Manvel? If so, how long before the utilities be available? What kind of homes will they be? Section 8 housing? Hopefully not. What preparations will be made for the city before the construction begin? Like they said, the roads are horrible. They're going to get worse with the construction. Are they going to be blocking us, with everything? Will this cause more flooding into our already overwhelming flooding issues, which we flooded really bad and we almost flooded 2 times. So I don't want that. My house personally. Let's see. How will this affect our already overinflated property taxes? With the influx of people that will be commuting in their rear, how does the city plan on upgrading the road system to keep our families safe and when? Will this cause us new mud taxes? For the best interest of our community, neighborhood on just the flooding and road system, we feel that these issues need to be handled before compounding and creating bigger problems without any remedies or plans to address them.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll make a third call for comments. Come on up.
Quick question, because I couldn't hear everything. Am I to understand that this new area they want to develop, they're going to be coming out on the same road that
We need your
are
name and
using
address,
now?
please.
Huh?
I need your name and
I'm
address.
sorry, my name is Marion Dell, 4421 Sandy Ridge Lane.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
What I'm worried about is the flooding, and if you notice, most everyone, we're really worried about that road. It's pitiful. But the biggest problem is part of it's city and part of it is county. And I'm not sure which is which, but they recently put in a new culvert right there at 89. That's already falling apart. So we're really, I mean, you're gonna have to, they're gonna have to elevate that area where they're wanting to put houses. It's already a marsh when it rains. And then you elevate them and we're not elevated, then we're gonna get their water. So, you know, nobody wants this extra water unless it's in the ground so we can use it, not in our houses. And plus, I'm gonna say it, we all moved out there for the peace and quiet. We really didn't want a big neighborhood. Mine and my family have been out there 40 years. I personally have been there almost 30. So, you know, if it's just a small neighborhood like now, we can deal with it when the road's not quite so great and the ditches are overflowing and stuff, but this is gonna make it really bad for us. They're gonna get all new stuff, new this, new that, and we're gonna be on the other side of the road and getting all their after. So is there a plan that you're gonna do a lot of building up and everything before you start making these houses? Is it in concrete that you're really gonna make this neighborhood, this extra new neighborhood?
We can cover all of that as part of the discussion.
Huh?
We'll try to answer those questions as part of the discussion that we're going to have.
Well, I didn't know. I couldn't hear back there, sorry.
Sure. So we'll get back with you on that. We would like to see if there's any other speakers so that we can close the public hearing.
Is there going to be another meeting so we'll find out whether it's going through or any of that? Because I didn't get any information that this was happening. My neighbor ended up telling me she got information about it, but I didn't. So.
Ma'am, we will cover all.
Don't answer too good.
Hi, my name is Tony Harvell. I'm at 4512 Sandy Ridge Lane, and I probably have another question that y'all aren't going to answer, but I just want to put it out here. Maybe you all can cover it in the discussion. So I just wanted clarification. Is this something that is the subdivision already approved? It's something that's already planning to move forward? That's the part that I'm not really clear on just yet. And if that is something that's already going to happen and in the works, and we're just here to approve that little small piece of land, will there be subsequent meetings and opportunities for us to participate in the planning decisions? Because clearly everyone is concerned about the flooding that will happen on the other side.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. All this talk, Brandy Smith, 4707 Old Massey Ranch Road. All this talk just kind of,
Slow down. What is your address?
4707 Old Massey Ranch
She
Road.
was the first one here.
Sorry. All this talking had me thinking. So how would the homes be affecting us? Are they going to have a range that they have to be built in? Are they going to be pre-built on the lot at a certain size? Most of our houses are not, that I know of, like 4,000 square feet. I'm not near there. So are these going to be homes that kind of look like the small mansions that are down the street on Chocolate Bayou that they've kind of started putting in? Because it makes it hard for someone to kind of move in because those raise value, and your houses start to appraise differently when you have houses like that. Since is it going to push our houses out and have people coming in trying to move our houses out of the way in order to put bigger homes in as well to match what is across the street that we don't have in our neighborhood right now? Nothing's wrong with our houses, but we are an older lot, so a lot of our homes are older, but we also don't have 3,000 to 5,000 square foot homes like some of the newer homes coming up that are affecting even our neighborhoods, even though they're a quarter mile to a mile down the street. And the last one would be is the school zone. I like it that I'm still in Pearland, and right now if I lived across the street, I would go to Manvel. And I still have a high schooler. I know some of these have younger ones that may choose to be in Pearland still, and they like that they're on that line that allows them to still choose to be in Pearland. How would that be affected if the kids across the street are Alvin and we're Pearland ISD? That's all I got.
Okay, we appreciate all the comments, and we don't have the answers, okay? So we don't want you to think that we're not listening to you, because we are. We're taking notes. I think the comments are good, and I'm glad y'all are here to make them. So
Staff is going to give an update. You get to the item, so you.
okay, so I need a motion to table this this issue.
Public hearing. Table the public
The
hearing.
table the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
You-
Any second?
A second.
Okay. Okay, so let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? There's not. So we're going to table this agenda,
The public hearing.
the public hearing. And
It's going to be approved.
Is there any way that we all can get advertisements? Because it seems like one person got an official letter and the rest of us got copies that were put in our mailbox.
No, just get to this item. Get to the item on the agenda. We'll be able to. Yeah.
Sir, we're going to get to that item on the agenda. Once we get to the agenda item, staff can give some updates and answer some of those questions, but keep in mind, the meeting at that point is for the board, so decorum will be required. You can't just blurt out questions and get unruly. We'll try to answer all the questions, but it'll be between the board and the staff. If you have a question and raise your hand and the chair wants to acknowledge that question, we may do that, but at that point, it's not an open forum, okay? So we're going to get to this. Let us do our part, and then if you have further questions, we'll see where we're at that time.
Your next thing is going to be the consent agenda.
just need approval.
Approval of the minutes.
Okay, so I need a motion for the approval of the minutes for the consent agenda.
Are we able to do that? I didn't know if we had enough people to
You can do
approve.
the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from April 30th, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
And vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And none opposed?
Read the agenda item,
Okay.
and then staff can answer all the questions. At the end, you'll end up tabling it, and we'll put the description.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to open the regular agenda. Consideration for possible action to approve a request by Jose I'm sorry, I can't. Acecudo for variance to section 77-27B2, Manvel zoning ordinance, lot width. Property generally located 350 feet southeast of the southeast corner of the intersection of Massey Ranch Road and Chocolabayo Road, situated in the A0320 Aristarchus Little Track 1, Division E, Brazoria County, Texas. This property is in the open single-family residential district and is just over 10 acres in size. The applicant is requesting a variance from the minimum of 120-foot lot width requirement to 110 foot for one of the 7 lots, lot number 4, planned for an open single-family residential development. Okay,
Well,
I'll refer to staff.
We'll tell you what, let me kick off. The people might not understand that we don't have the full board tonight. To open the meeting and have the public hearing, we need a quorum of 3, which we do have. There's 3 members here today. To consider the variance request, you need a supermajority, which is 4, and we don't have 4 members. So we're going to have to continue this item and post it on a future meeting and come back when we have more board members that can hear this. So we're not going to be able to act on this tonight. It's going to be at another meeting. There'll probably be the public hearing. They're tabling the public hearing, so the public hearing for public comment will be here again when the next meeting when we are able to consider it. And then the board can do what they're tasked to do. And just to say one thing, a lot of these items, what I would consider are development issues or development questions about the whole development. That's not the board's role. The board really doesn't have anything to do with streets or traffic, drainage. The board's sole function here is to look at requests to the zoning ordinance that are varied from what's in the book. The code requires certain things. Here we require each lot to be at least 120 foot wide for these big lots. They want to be 10 foot less. That's the only thing that they're here to consider as to whether is that a reasonable request to vary from our standard code for when they go to subdivide. Nothing's been approved yet. They're going to have to go through the platting process, through planning, development, and zoning, which is a different board, to look at their plat to see if they're going to get that approved. There's a lot of city rules and laws and ordinances that have to do with the platting. And then to get into the development stuff, there's a lot of different city rules for drainage and also building codes, well and septic. There's a lot of different things that anybody that comes to build a house here in the city is going to have to comply with. But they can't even start building because they don't have their plat approved. And the plat would divide this piece of land into 7 if they can meet all the requirements. And there's one requirement they can't meet, and that's that one of the lots is going to be 110 foot wide instead of 120. So that's why they're here. This is called the Board of Adjustment, and the Board of Adjustment here is to hear what's going on and see if it's a reasonable request or not, and vote on that, which they can't do tonight. All these other requirements, I mean, certainly some of them the city doesn't even have to do with, like what school zone we're in. That's not even the city. We don't set the school zones. That's the school districts. Property taxes, I mean, the property tax amounts are set by the appraisal district. That's not the city. There's no mud taxes. I think somebody asked about mud taxes. To my knowledge, there's not any mud district that's been asked to be created, and the city would have to consent to that, because the people under a mud district, will pay a lot more taxes, like a lot of these big subdivisions do. They pay a lot more tax to a mud district than you do if you're living on acreage. So to my knowledge, there's nobody that's applying for creation of a mud district, and that wouldn't affect any of you all. It would only affect the people that live on that property. And in my experience, that's not enough land to generate enough taxes to have a mud district to pay for the roads and the infrastructure. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense, that a lot of these questions are good development questions, but this board is not the one that has anything to do with a lot of those development issues. If roads in general that's something you would go to the city council. We have a set budget for roads for the city, and we try to get what done we can. The county helps us sometimes with some of the roads that they're able to do for us. But basically, you need to let the city know if the road's substandard or needs some attention or needs to be redone. Let our Public Works Department know that, and I guess at some point they'll do what they can to address that. But that's something that's really at the city council level. Traffic, I don't think that this is a big enough, 7 houses is not big enough to require a big traffic plan like Pomona might have to have, or these other big developments when you're talking 200 houses, 500 houses, 700 houses. They would have to do a traffic plan perhaps, but for 7 houses, that's not considered enough traffic added to the street to use that as a reason to stop a development. So that's why I'm trying to give you some information and answer a few questions and kind of tell you what the board's role is. And a lot of these are good questions, but they're not really anything the board can do anything about. And I'm sure I've left something out that maybe you can add, Joe. So.
Yeah, I would just like to add a couple of points to what Bobby just said. And I see your hands up, sir, but once our discussion's done, our chair can consider your request to speak. Just a little background on zoning. So I think one of the questions was, is any businesses coming in, or what the how that area would be impacted in terms of density and stuff. So the city of Manvel has adopted zoning, which assigns a designation to all the properties that are within the city limits and provides land use allowances in terms of whether you can develop the property for residential or commercial or an industrial use and other types of uses. This particular property is designated for residential use. The request is not to change that. They are doing single-family residential. Now, with each zoning district, you have development-related regulations that come in place, which includes your minimum lot area, your minimum lot width. And in this situation, the request is so let me take a step back. So the minimum lot area requirement is 1 acre. And my understanding is all the 7 acre lots are more than 1 acre. Some of them are quite more than 1 acre. So with that logic, the request is that can the width, because of the limited width that the entire property has, one of the lots be slightly less than the minimum required 120 feet, and the reduction is 10 feet. Instead of 120, they're requesting 110. So that's the scale of the request that is being made. So without the variance, they could do maybe 1 less lot. However, in terms of acreage, if they had 10 more feet on that frontage, they could do 7 lots without deviating from the area requirement. So that's the logic behind it. Hey, we are meeting the area requirement for all the lots. On one of the lots, the width requirement is 10 feet less. That's what the applicant's basis is for the request. So, having said that, the scope of the zoning board's consideration of the request is how the request fits in terms of the criteria that Evan had presented as part of his presentation. And based on that, they make a determination if it's a reasonable request and vote to approve or deny the request. Now, I know there was one question about who all of us are. So we have the board members. We have Tammy, who's our city secretary. We both are staff members, city attorney and director of development services. And we have Evan, who's our consultant, who has worked on this project when I was absent. I recently joined the city of Manvel. I would also like to touch upon the fact that the property is located within the city limit, but around our ETJ. So regarding the road and some of the issues that we see there, we may have to go back to the drawing board and see how much of jurisdiction we have versus what jurisdiction the county would have, because it's right at that edge. And I would, before concluding, I would want to say that some of the inputs and some of the feedback that you've provided is valid, and we would like to hear those feedback and input as part of our comprehensive planning process. process, which is ongoing right now, where we are seeking input from public to see how we can improve our plan and plan ahead, plan for future. And you'll be seeing opportunities and inputs, opportunities to provide input on our website, and keep an eye on the city council agendas. We may have public meetings regarding that. And one last thing about noticing for the public hearing. So we are required to send letters notifying the public hearing to property owners who live within 200 feet from the subject site, from this property. So it's not that the letters are sent out to the entire city. There's a limit to which we send out notices. But at the same time, the notice is also published in the newspaper so that it's an available resource, and also on our website, I believe. So with that, Evan, do you want to address some of the development-related questions regarding drainage and all of that?
Yeah, so I want to state also that the applicant is in the audience today, so it might be a good idea to have that person speak if they want to, just to kind of, they have more input on what their homes are looking to have there, and I don't have that knowledge.
I need my address. Are you the applicant?
She's the applicant, though.
Her mic is not on. There you
Oh, it's on now.
It's on.
Okay.
Hello. You need my address, and I don't live in there. Okay, cool. So the development is going to be single-family homes. All of the problems that are related to flooding, I bought the property knowing that's in the flood zone. They probably bought the property knowing that it was in the flood zone. There's nothing we could do about it being in the flood zone, but we have to get drainage. We have to get a drainage engineer plan to be able to even build, which is in the AE floodplain. So it's obvious that that property floods everywhere around it, floods because it's in the flood zone. The county actually is the person that I have to talk to about County Road 80, about Massey 100. I'm talking to them, and then I have to talk to Manvel about the lot. So the lot is at the corner of Manvel, I guess, jurisdiction. So there's nothing you could do. I mean, there's nothing I could talk to y'all about the county road, and then everything else is in the city of Manvel. So a lot of the things that they brought up, I think are problems for the county street, not really, conducive to the development. But all I'm asking for is an extra 10 feet, exactly like he said, to do instead of 6 lots, 7 lots. That's it. I mean, everything else, I'm going by the book. Everything Manvel needs. I've met with Evan. I've met with multiple people, had multiple meetings. We've talked about the development. I'm not out here not trying to follow any of the rules. I'm not creating the HOA. Everyone will have their own septic, their own water, and the electricity is based off of whatever CenterPoint allows us to do. So I don't know what else, I think.
And do you have like a planned size for the homes that you're thinking about, or is that something
around 3,000 square feet, 3,500 square feet. It's not going to be, they're going to be all nicer homes. It's not going to be like small homes. They're all going to be nicer homes.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. No, I'm not saying nothing about y'all's homes. He asked me what type of homes
Like
and the
square
size.
footage.
Yeah, there is nothing against anybody else's houses.
And then I just have some brief.
Your taxes will be based off of what your house looked like with the appraisal district, though.
And I just have some brief clarifications. I do want to thank you guys all for coming out here today. Like, it's nice to see the notices go out and people actually come to the meetings and find out why. And these notices are to get contact with you all and get input and kind of hear what your issues are. And we try to do whatever we can to help. So in terms of the drainage plan, this is in the AE flood zone. It's 100-year. And by requirements, they have very restrictive fill requirements. They have to get, elevation certificate. They have to prove up their finished floor. And essentially, they're going to have an engineered drainage plan. They're going to have to work with, during the planning process, they're going to have to work with BDD 3, which is the drainage district. They're going to have to meet all of our drainage criteria, and they're going to have to assure that they build correctly in the floodplain, which is 100-year. She said, people have said CenterPoint deals with power, and that's part of the planning process too. We send out letters for no objection for the utilities to make sure that they have input on the platting as well. County Road, Massey Ranch Road, I believe is a county road. So I'll reach out to the city's contacts in Brazoria County and see if we can just mention that we've got a lot of comments from you all on the condition of that road and see if there's any plans in the future. I mean, it seems pretty clear that that's an issue in this area. And it's weird because this is what occasionally happens when there's a city that ends and there's a county road. So we'll send an email and see if we can get some input on that.
It's all dirt road.
Okay. And in terms of the, I've just some quick questions. I know I wrote all these down. Permitting, so the way it works is this is the variance, so this is approved. The next step would be the subdivision, preliminary plat, and then get the drainage plan approved. And then after that's done, then there'd be the final plat, and the final plat would create the lots. After the lots are created, if that happens, there's permitting for the houses. And the houses are reviewed for their impact on that house, all the requirements, windstorm, parking requirements, all the stuff that the cities look for in the development of a house. And each one of those houses would be individually reviewed. And, like I said before, we're going to need elevation certificates. It's in a floodplain. There's high scrutiny on these homes for drainage and floodplain that you wouldn't have if this wasn't in the 100-year. In terms of the benefit of the neighborhood, these are additional homes. I know there's been kind of concerns about more people living in the neighborhood in terms of traffic and all that stuff. There's no plans to annex the area across the street. You guys are in the county. We have no plans at this point to annex that area. I can't answer the Section 8 housing. I don't believe they're going to be Section 8 housing, but.
Right, that's what I was saying. You had said something about Section 8. They're going to be nicer houses, yeah.
Okay. No new taxes, and then that's basically what I had in my notes to answer. And we just do the best we can every day,
And I would just highlight one aspect. So the proposed lots also include right-of-way dedication. I think it's a 30-foot wide right-of-way dedication for future expansion of the road based on our major thoroughfare plan. So that is also one of the things that I wanted to mention.
Okay. I'm going to need a motion, which I'm going to make to adjourn the meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me, I need a motion to table the regular agenda.
I'll make the motion to table the agenda.
Okay, and I'll make a second. Need a vote. All in favor? Aye. None opposed? And I'll now make a motion. Okay. All of these items will come before our board again when we have a super majority. We can't make action on anything tonight over what we've done so far. So with that, I'm going to make a motion at 7:14. We're adjourned.